Hello everyone, my name is the Mad Scorpion and welcome back to another This Week in Destiny update. Now, I'm not gonna lie, there is gonna be some words going through it just because there is a lot. I will still try to do my best and short change and simplify as much as possible. But to go over the main topics, we have exotic focusing updates, Deck of Whispers highlight, mid-season armor and weapons preview, that's the more important thing, and more seasons added to the cutscene archive. So Rahul hosts The Price is Right. This is, I think, just generally a post explaining why shards are going away and how they're changing some of the stuff. But in closing, there are going to be some new exotic focusing costs to Rahul, which is basically going to be 30k Glimmer and 10 Enhancement Prisms, and then 60k Glimmer and 2 Ascendant Alloys for more focusing focusts. But aside from that, that's pretty much all of that going into it. And then the Deck of Whispers, they briefly talk about how the Deck of Whispers had some insight in the fact that you can also buy a real-life version of the Deck of Whispers if you want to. But then into the main meat and potatoes of it, the mid-season armor and weapons preview. So, for upcoming Season 22 exotic armor balancing changes, Antaeus Wards. Reflective Vents will now require full class ability to deploy. Following deactivation of Reflective Vents, your class ability is drained proportional to the amount of damage reflected. No longer provides an improved slide. So, a bit of a... I don't know if that was another or just the Antaeus nerf that they were talking about before. Young Ahamkara's Spine. Reduce the Trip Mine Grenade's bonus health from 100 to 70. And remove the bonus 50% damage resistance. Grenade energy is now provided on ability kills instead of damage dealt. Then for weapon balancing, archetypes. So, for submachine guns, generally increased recoil globally by 10% and reduce the mouse and keyboard stability bonus from 20% to 10%. So generally more recoil for SMGs across the board. Auto rifles, specifically, a bunch of changes here. Rapid fire auto rifles specifically reduce the aim down sight damage fall off scalar from 1.7 to 1.6, so slightly less range. Same for adaptive auto rifles, same change. And then increase the base damage from 14.25 to 15, and decreased crit hit multiplier from 1.6 to 1.55. Changing crit damage goes from 2.8 to 23.3. So that's how things will go. Precision frame auto rifles. Reduce the aimed out sight damage fall off scalar from 1.7 to 1.6, and Amit AR4. Final change to ARs, we are going to be experimenting with new freedom that separates zoom from damage fall off as given us by moving the Amit's AR4 zoom value from 17 to 15. In the live game, Amit is currently the undisputed king of ARs for multiple seasons, with his high range, ability to craft with double enhanced consistency perks, Amlan origin trait, and its above average zoom contribute to the weapon feeling like there is no reason to use anything else. Reducing the zoom will make the weapon harder to or easier to use at close range, where it has stiff competition with SMGs like Immortal and Unhidden Tempest, and it will make it harder to use at long range as accuracy will be decreased and the aim assist will fall off sooner. This will introduce a trade-off to the weapon being used to open the door to other ARs at long range, so reducing zoom on Amit specifically. For pulse rifles, oh boy, that's a lot of words. Let's see. Generally increased damage fall off range at 0 stat by 1 meter, so lower zoom has more range. And aggressive frame pulse rifles increase the damage fall off scalar to 1.8. So, yeah, so that's a lot of words for pulse rifles getting slightly changed. But then generally some zoom changes. So this is going to be the broad spectrum of everything for zoom going after the mid-season change, with slightly more zoom on hand cannons, and it seems like that. But there's a lot of details here, which is basically more guaranteed numbers based on changes, in case you are more concerned about exact specs. Then for fusion rifles, generally reduced the minimum damage that fusion rifles can deal after damage fall off from 50 to 45%. So at max range, they will only be dealing 45%. I guess that's to prevent it from mapping too much. Then for sniper rifles, decrease the airborne accuracy penalty by 20%. Sniper rifles will now be as accurate at base as they were pre-aerial effectiveness change with Icarus Stash, or Icarus Grip. Aggressive frame snipers reduce body shot damage from 157.5 to 135 and increase the crit multiplier from 3 flat to 3.5. For adaptive frame snipers, decrease body shot damage from 131 to 119 and increase crit hit from 2.95 to 3.25. And rapid fires decrease further body shot damage from 90 to 85 and increase the multiplier for crits by at least another 20 or 0.20%, which, judging by that, basically they're trying to change how easy it is to just go for 2-shot bodies or do a 1-shot body and swap to something to clean it up. So I guess they're trying to keep from sniper cheesing. For shotguns, generally they decrease the airborne accuracy penalty for precision slug shotguns by 20%, now as accurate as pre-nerf or change Icarus Dash, and decrease the airborne pellet spread penalty for shotguns by 20%, so now you'll be more airborne accurate with shotguns all across the board. For perks, Perfect Float has strong benefits, but the duration was too short for something that improves just stats and requires extended combat. Increased the base duration of the stat from 6 to 10 seconds, and extended duration from 7 to 12. And Kickstart reduced damage bonus from 20% to 15% to keep it from being so OP. Now, Checkmate. Also, some minor tuning coming to Checkmate Control, increasing the score from 100 to 125 for win, and decreasing the frequency of heavy ammo spawns from 90 to 180 seconds. There we go. Now, some future changes coming to PvE General Tuning. Increased base PvE damage for glaive projectiles and sniper rifles. Increased damage against minor combats for pulse and auto rifles. And greatly increased damage against champions for Revision 0 and Vex Mythal Class. Huh. That sounds interesting, specifically for Revision, because I've honestly loved that pulse rifle. Problem is, it's just not enough power, it seems. But then also they're adding more Seasons of the Archive, including the cutscenes from Season of the Worthy, Season of Arrivals, Season of the Hunt, and Season of the Deep. So some old and some new, but here's hoping they get some of the Season of Dawn cutscenes, just because that's a personal favorite of, you know, characters and story. Obviously, Saint 14. Then, the player support report and known issues. The 48-hour challenge mode emblem. Continue to work on sending the Crota's End challenge mode emblem and acknowledging All for One Triumph for eligible players. As a reminder, to qualify for the emblem and triumph, players must have completed challenge mode Crota's End within 48 hours of the raid's release. So by Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern American. Then, for known issues, continue to investigate ongoing reports of error codes in Destiny 2. Hive swords will occasionally consume a player's enlightenment, but fail to be picked up. And Phototonic Vest is currently unable to be transmogged. So, there is that. And if I may just add one, recently after using Hierarchy of Needs a lot in the Grandmaster, occasionally there's just a criteria, not sure what it is, that does it specifically, maybe something on Solar Warlock. But I have been noticing an occasional time where whenever I launch the guidance ring for enhanced arrows, they just don't exist. It consumes the charge, it even triggers Prophetic Vector, which increases the draw time on it, but I have no guidance ring. So Bungie, pay attention to that, please. And then for fast colors, it's basically more the memes of colors in Destiny and various art and movies of the week, as we always see. Oh, cute little cheapy worms. Worm! But with that, that is pretty much the TWID. Some slight inclination to changes going forward, but aside from that, it doesn't seem like they're doing more than what they already talked about in nerfing in the future, so I guess that'll just be going out with a reach and patch sometime soon. With that, my name is Matt Scorpion, and I will see you in the next video.